Akairo No Kaii, also known as Red Mystery, is a newly released horror game by Japanese developer HedronDog. It's about a student who's on their way home late at night. As they walk along the path they usually take, the lights seem dimmer than usual. Each time the protagonist tries to advance down their usual route, something tells them not to go that way as the lights go out along the roadway. They see something like a person in red just standing there. Something's not right here. They backtrack toward the small maintenance building nearby to look for a way to help them get home. And what they saw was proven correct. When they enter the restroom of the building, a dark-haired woman in a red dress sprints by. Without needing to speak, they know that this woman is dangerous. This is the base plot that starts off Akairo No Kaii. It's an escape from the killer creature type of game where you collect items around multiple different areas and buildings to make your way home and survive the night. Naturally, since the inspiration for the game comes from Japanese folklore, escaping isn't as simple as running away and unlocking doors. You'll get the bad ending if you don't pay attention and banish the creature as well. Apparently, the game was made with Japanese horror movies in mind. What those movies could be aren't exactly stated anywhere I could find. It just says Japanese movies in general. I assume the girl that chases you has some influence from Akamanto, another one of the many Japanese myths of spirits who won't let you go home at night. Akamanto is a spirit that wears all red and appears in bathrooms and almost always kills you. This girl appears to be following us at the start of the game all in red, and then she fully appears when we're in the restroom. And of course, that's only speculation. Maybe she is just supposed to be a creepy grudge girl with no deeper meaning. But whatever it was that birthed her, the enemy of the game was done well. She roams the area you're in for the entirety of the playthrough. She'll walk around looking for you, and it is very hard to see with only a flashlight that shines directly in front of you. A moaning noise dictates when she gets close, and she could easily catch you off guard like this. Once you turn around, it'll already be too late. This element of the gameplay worked really well. It makes it so you can see what's right in front of you, but essentially nothing else. It makes it easy to explore, but also keeps you paranoid doing circles to make sure she's not somewhere right beside you. Because the only glimpse of her that you'll see is in the darkness wearing that full red jacket. It can be a little tough starting out too for the same reasons, but once you get used to the areas and have explored them fully after dying a couple times, it becomes much simpler to evade her and do what you need to do. I thought the item collecting and finding how to progress was smooth too. The notes scattered around paint a well enough picture to give clues, and the areas are small enough to figure it out for yourself. If there's one thing that hindered my playthrough, it's the 4-slot inventory and lack of notes on how to banish her. Like I said above, there is a good ending and a bad ending. To get the good ending, you need to basically find every item and learn where to use them. And there are notes that help you do that, and I knew what to do after beating the game, but the first time through, it's like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna miss it, especially since it's achieved mid-game in a specific building. The entirety of the game is basically divided into 3 phases, and that second half of the game had a pretty refreshing horror mechanic that I liked a lot. When she runs after you, instead of her being able to go everywhere, she'll know where you are at near all times, and you could stop her movement by staring at her with your point of view. But when you look away, she can dart and pop up somewhere else and go straight for you again. The second you hear a moan, you have to turn your head quickly to stop her. And this was only implemented in a small portion of the game before you enter that building, but I love the idea of it for a chase. In small spaces, I could see how it could get a little annoying though, if there's nowhere else for her to go but be directly beside you. But it really was a good idea, and I wish they had it more in the game overall. Although they didn't have much area to work with, so I see why they didn't, but I love the mechanic. In that last phase, you're on the final road home with your house in sight for escape. You need to grab 3 keys scattered around sheds and cages to make it through a padlocked door for whatever reason that perfectly guards the route to your house. I'm guessing the red girl did that when she realized the protagonist is just too lazy to climb over railings. The small girl that was chasing you before has elongated to have this huge body now with scraggly black hair, and she'll chase you with a lot more ease, but this time the structure around this area is a lot more labyrinthian. It's much more of a run and gun segment, but I still enjoyed it. Seeing her stretched over the wall or outside of the shed I was in made me plan my next steps very carefully before I bursted out running somewhere to find the next key. After collecting all the keys and making it through the cage gate, thankfully because she glitched out behind a telephone pole in my playthrough, made it semi-smooth, Our protagonist does end up making her way back home, but are they the only one that returns home? If you made it this far into the video, I assume you're probably okay with spoilers and may or may not play the game, but for those of you who don't want to hear the endings, click out now and go play it on Steam. It's only a few dollars. But for the rest of you who do want to hear the game ended, there are actually 3 endings, and I think one of them is just a death ending, but the other 2 have more conclusive ends. One, you either arrive home and tell your mom what happens and she doesn't believe you. You continue to your room and distract yourself on the computer, and then behind you, she waits as the screen goes red. This is the ending I got because I did not banish her properly. So to banish her properly, there is a building mid-game that you need to bring some obscure starting items into, that being a hammer and a flower. You use the hammer to get a key to go upstairs, and then once you do, you'll be in a room covered with talismans. Opening a wall in the back leads to a shrine of a dead person with a vase on it. If you put the other flower on the shrine, you get an amulet from this. I assume it honors her spirit and she won't curse you once you make it home from this. And when you do get home this time, you wake up in the hospital instead of the house. Your mom does believe you based on the tear she finds on your face. She brings you in for an exorcism, and then late on a different night, the girl does appear before you again. This time though, you have the amulet, you hold it up, and she dissipates, never to haunt you again. It's a nice short little horror experience that provides a creepy atmosphere and did manage to jump scare me multiple times. It's not too fast paced and just the right amount of difficulty of trial and error. It shouldn't take too long to finish and is very cheap. Akairo No Kaii is a certified good indie horror game, and I'm looking forward to what the developer makes next. Thanks for watching this little review all the way through if you did. We have more videos just like this one, and they're all indie. GG Files is composed of 2 people. I manage the indie horror side, Toad Knight manages the action indie side. Like and subscribe and all that if you like the channel and want to find more games like this one. Thanks again. Goodbye.